Hello and welcome back to Mass Effect 3. We're on the Normandy again. Let's not have too big of a look on the Normandy because it's already been a while of us talking. But at least let's go say hi to Liara. Actually, while we're here, let's go say hi to... to Joker. I'm sure he has something funny to say. Hey, ED.
I assume everything is going well up here?
ED and I are just enjoying the calm before the shitstorm, Commander.
How's the ship running, Edie?
I always work at optimal capacity.
Well, the Normandy's good. Everything's upgraded and better than ever. If we're talking about the crew, you'd probably have to ask a people person.
We can't beat the Reapers just with a skeleton crew.
I have the capacity to accommodate the slacking of any number of productively suspect humans, Shepard.
What happened to the rest of the old crew? Maybe we could recruit them. Lots of Cerberus people think they're doing the right thing.
Perhaps you should consider upgrading my hardware.
Retrofits are always a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so apparently everyone else is gone. Kind of makes sense for half a year of being impounded. Well, we'll see what happens.
Hey, Commander. You know, I had my doubts about the Council. But after years of ignoring your warnings, they're finally willing to step up and tell you they just can't help.
They've spent years denying the threat. You think they'd be prepared now?
I was kind of hoping that maybe they were planning in secret and just not telling you about it because, you know, Cerberus. Well, let me know if you want me to get them on the channel and then hang up on them, you know, for old time's sake.
Yeah, this is a reference to how in Mass Effect apparently you can cut communications at any point, and then that does make the Council a bit annoyed if you do that. Alright. Let's go talk to Liara. Yay, Alliance logos and everything. Still, a lot of things are orange because that's just the interface color. Crew deck, cruise quarters, mess hall, lounge, medical, AI core, main battery, observation deck, and life support. I have also had a look at this place already as well. Oh, this is new. Memorial wall. All people who have died, and that's basically all of the non-essential crew members that died in the Collector attack. Like Rupert Gardner. He is not making food anymore. Alright, and interestingly enough, all the rooms are green. But they might be empty. Because the mess hall is still there. Look at those trays. And sleeper pods are there. The kitchen is there. I guess nobody's cooking. Everyone needs to cook for themselves. Sleeper pods are there. No Garrus. Things are still downloading though. This looks fun. And this looks like a upgrade. Terminal, but apparently we cannot use it. This is also downloading or something. Interesting that we can walk around this place. It's no longer barricaded off. Alright, let's get back. And first talk to Liara. Hey, Glyph.
Commander Shepard, it's a pleasure to see you again.
You're the drone from the Shadow Broker's ship.
Dr. Tassoni now refers to me as Glyph instead of Info Drone, 95% of the time. If you have a moment, I'd like to draw your attention to a terminal in her office. It analyzes information packages. If you find any useful data, I can research upgrades for you.
And what should I be looking for?
I'll inform you if you found relevant data. When you do, return to this terminal for your choices. In the meantime, Dr. Tassoni would like to speak with you. Have a pleasant day.
Meeting with the council didn't go too well, huh?
It was less than ideal.
I'm shocked.
At least the council can't deny the Reapers exist. But I'm not sure how much comfort that is while they bicker over which portion of the galaxy to save.
Wow. Becoming the big info brokers turned you into a real cynic, Liara. I like it.
I'm flattered. I think.
Well, I don't like it. And yes, so Liara has moved from the Shadow Broker ship onto the Normandy now, taking Glyph together with her. Indeed, it was just referred to as Info Drone back then, but now it's referred to as Glyph. I'm quite used to his new name already because of playing this game before. But yes, there is an intel terminal. And we can have a lot of things. Armor mod kit. Farron has persuaded his contacts to ship an armor mod kit to the Normandy. Technically illegal in Citadel space, the kit's Omnigel converter and manufacturing fabricator can make a one-time modification to Shepard's armor, improving shield strength or added thermal clip compartments. I can either get more ammo capacity or more shields. I think ammo capacity is generally a bit more useful. Well, Intel and cybernetic upgrades. Ammo capacity +5. None. Oh, it's like what you have upgraded. So we got this. Cool. Ammo capacity bonus. And we also have the broker terminal from Claire the Shadow Broker. Oh, but first let's talk to Claire.
Looks like you brought more than just that drone from your ship.
A few things were necessary. I'd be a very silent shadow broker without data feeds.
So you have access to your resources?
What I can get. We'll need it to research this Prothean device. Until we understand precisely what it does, it's far too dangerous to use.
Did the Protheans actually complete this weapon?
You mean, will it work? They wouldn't have poured their last resources into this device if they thought otherwise. But we really need to find out just what kind of weapon they left us.
Well, to be honest, a sinking person grasps the straw. So they may have poured it and it may have been completely a dead end. But yes, it is important to figure it out.
It'd be nice to know we're not kids playing around with a loaded gun.
Absolutely. The damage it could cause if it backfired is unthinkable. People were finally starting to listen before the Reapers came. If we'd had a little more time, maybe Earth wouldn't. I'm sorry. I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
There's hope for it.
There's still a lot of people alive down there. I have to remember that.
You will. It's the war we warned everyone about for years. And if I know you, Shepard, you'll make them proud.
Right. And this is what's left from Miranda's room. It's still kind of a nice XO office. Indeed, without Miranda here, actually Liara kind of takes over as the XO. It's, yeah, I don't necessarily like that. You know, before we had an actual XO and then we got Miranda. Now Miranda is gone, Liara is in, and Liara's personality basically is the personality of Miranda now, as Joker also kind of mentioned. I don't like that. Miranda should have Miranda personality and Liara should have Liara personality. I don't like the fact that they just reshuffled the two. It doesn't really make sense to me. Oh well.
This terminal contains non-essential correspondence from your allied forces. Dr. Tassoni has granted you access.
Thank you, Glyph. Prothean notes, 2171, 2185. Glyph, remind me to clean up these old notes. Perhaps reviewing them will lead to something useful for the Prothean device. Liara. 2171. The University of Ceres agreed to sponsor me at the Prothean dig on Dretrop. Very exciting. Professor Hennel is heading the expedition herself. Maybe I can even ask her for her opinion on my thesis outline. Attachment. Thesis on Prothean First Contact Protocols. 2174. I believe Dr. Joshon was right to suggest that the Prothean artifacts here on Earth are from the Third Age, not the Fourth. What an embarrassing mistake. At least he seemed to approve of the rest of the paper. Attachment. Paper on a comparison of Prothean technology to modern Asari circuit logic. Huh. That's interesting. 2183, Part 1. I'm going to the Therum expedition. I never thought I'd gain permission to visit the Prothean ruins there, but the University of Ceres must have secured the funding after all. Now to pack. Attachment. Paper on the end of the Prothean Empire. And she got stuck there. 2183, Part 2. Goddess, this human, Shepard, has the key to comprehending the Prothean on an instinctual subconscious level. If only I could have been there when the commander touched the beacon on Eden Prime. I'll try to learn more about the cipher on board the Normandy. The involvement of the Reapers is troubling, to say the least. Attachment. Paper on the end of the Prothean Empire with correction notes. 2185. I reviewed the old Shadow Broker's footage of the Collectors. It's chilling to know that they're the Prothean's husks. At least nothing sentient could possibly remain after what the Reapers did to them. Attachment. Paper on Prothean biology. Message from Operative Farron on the broker. I made contact with Tazek yesterday. The look on his face was priceless. He's not happy you put me in charge of scouting the terminus systems, but he is doing a good job of keeping us alive. I've never seen so many pirates and mercs on edge. The black market's unreliable and it's getting harder to make contact with suppliers. The Alliance won't be able to rely on it as a source of crucible materials for long if things get worse. Some of the other operatives think we should cut our losses now, but I just keep asking them, when did the odds ever stop the broker? Farron. P.S. I hope you finally got our little friend Droney to stop saying shadow and broker out loud in the same sentence to anyone in sight. That is a good point. Then again, nobody is supposed to get to see Glyph to begin with. Eva Correa Research, Entry 1. Glyph. Start cross-referencing our databank for any connections between the name Eva Correa and Cerberus. Almost all of the infiltration mech's data was wiped when it shut down, but EDI was able to pull some corrupted manifest data from the firmware. The code architecture appears remarkably similar to EDI's, though that's unsurprising given that they're both Cerberus AIs. What is remarkable is the way the code itself is structured. The infiltration software was almost entirely built around links to what looks like memory appellation code, almost as if the AI was intended to draw upon implanted memories. Even more curiously, EDI claims that much of it matches code that the Elusive Man wrote himself. I wouldn't be professional to jump to conclusions, but I'm beginning to suspect that there's much more to the name Eva Correa than just a cover. Yes, there is, and it is explained in one of the Mass Effect comics. Mass Effect Foundation, if I remember correctly. Alright, well that was interesting.
Please, enjoy your day.
Thank you, Glyph. And now to talk to our new medical officer.
Hello there, Commander.
How are you settling in, Doctor?
Good. I've been busy restocking supplies and running diagnostics. It's nice working alone in a fresh lab. I get to set up everything just the way I want. Anyway, now that you're here, I'd like to examine you.
Do you have concerns about my health?
You have an extensive number of cybernetic implants.
I died. Cerberus spent a fortune bringing me back.
I know. I just want to make sure everything checks out. It'll take no time.
It's like casually, yeah, I died. No big deal.
It doesn't hurt to be safe. It won't hurt, will it?
No, nothing invasive. I just need to run some implant diagnostics and take readings of your immune system. It looks like your implants have a synthetic protein overlay that's allowed your body to integrate them quite nicely.
Must be from the procedure I had done to help heal my scarring.
Must be. I bet that wasn't cheap. Thank you for indulging me. Everything looks fine. May I help you at all?
Yes, so indeed, if we had not healed our scars, I guess we would still have the scars.
Do we have enough medical supplies?
Luckily, the med bay was one of the first areas the retrofit team stocked. That's fortunate. Who knows how long we'll have to be self-sufficient.
How does working on a military vessel compare to your Citadel clinic?
It's a completely different experience. I like that I have fewer patients under my care. I can really focus and get to know each person. But the workday never ends here. I don't get to go home. I'm always on call. But you're making a real difference. So by being here, I'm making a difference too.
Do you have any family?
My parents are on Earth, Geneva. The news isn't good.
I'm sorry.
But my brother is safe on the Citadel. I'll count my blessings where I can.
I guess if he gets injured, then you would need to be in charge of healing him.
Just let me know if you need anything.
I will.
Alright, so we got... here, yes. This is good. And instead of Legion, we have the body of Eva Correa. Oh, also, hey Edie.
Hello, Shepard.
Hi. Are you not going to give me a tour of the ship? Come on. That's a downgrade from last time. Yes, well, let's see this. So we can get bonus powers, and thanks to another mod, we have more powers than we would otherwise. Some of those powers come from multiplayer, which is pretty cool. It's rather weird that they made powers for multiplayer and never added them to single player. But okay, so the more interesting ones are from here. Well, Dominate is cool. I would really like to have it, because then I can hack everything. I can have synthetics and I can hack organics. And that's a lot of fun. I also have other things. See, having something that can protect us at close range would be really good, because that's actually the one place that the engineer is really bad at. So yeah, but this is within its range. It doesn't seem like the range is from ourselves. Biotic whip. Ballistic blades. Biotic sphere. Create a defensive shield that surrounds the caster and nearby allies. More damage dealt to enemies entering the shielded area. Well, this is useful. Okay. Mission net. Massive damage to armored targets. Annihilation field. Can be recast to blast a short-range area and to detonate combos. This sounds very useful. Tactical scan. Reveal weaknesses and defenses, increasing all damage done to the target, slowing its movement speed. That's funny. By the entire squad with a tactical readout. Only one scan can be active at a target. Multi-frag grenade. Biotic slash. Charge a specially constructed conduit sword with a biotic energy and slash nearby enemies in a wide swath, flattening and shielded opponents. This is also very good. Also a Geth turret. Well, we already have a turret. Well, there's a lot of interesting things. Like, Annihilation Field sounds good, but I will take Biotic Slash because this sounds really cool. And then we also have the ability to reset people's powers if we wanted to. I don't want to do that right now in particular. And oh yeah, there's a stereo system. I don't like the stereo system. I like my Normandy theme, thank you very much. Hey, I can't enter. How rude. The shutters are still there. But there is no Samara. However, we have the novels. There's Revelations. And there's Ascension. No Retribution, eh? And we have the crew quarters. And we see the core. It's still kind of vibrating. Life support. There is no Thane. We don't have models. Oh yeah, maintenance shaft. We can also climb the different decks if we want to. Oh, also there's training videos. If you want to learn how to do these things, I don't particularly. No Kasumi, but we still have the bar. We cannot drink anything though. And now there's also a table for playing poker. Apparently. It seems very similar to 10 Forward from Star Trek, The Next Generation. Yay, Sonic Shower. I can't use this apparently. Alright, well, let's get back up. And let's get moving somewhere.
Commander Shepard.
Actually, I want to do another thing first. Oh yeah, there's also the war terminal here. That's a bit more easy to access. Yes, what I want is the Normandy manifest. And we have an equipment manifest. We can customize vehicles and other equipment. We have the shuttle. And we have no secondary vehicle. And none are available, so, oh well. Crew, however, this is a bit more interesting. So we have a list of all personnel. Senior officers. Captain is Commander Shepard. Service record, 2172, enlisted in Systems Alliance. 177, accepted into Interplanetary Combat Tips Academy. 179, award and 6 status, Combat Engineer Program. That's interesting. It implies that before being a biotic, we were a combat engineer. 2181 awarded N7 status. 2183 promoted to Spectre by Citadel Council. Limited actions. 2175 participant of the Skilling Blitz. 2177 massacre of Akuz. 2178 participant in the Torfan raids. 2183 participant of the Battle of the Citadel. 2183 missing in action. 2184 killed in action, presumed. 2186 reinstalled into active service. Good. Executive Officer. The Executive Officer, XO, is the second in command of the ship. The XO manages the day-to-day operations of the ship and coordinates all organizational issues, reporting only necessary items to the Commanding Officer, CO. A high degree of trust is required between CO and XO for the ship to run smoothly. If CO is ashore and incapacitated, the XO assumes the CO's responsibilities. And we have two options. We can make either Joker the XO or Liara. Well, it's pretty obvious that Liara is an XO. So, in the base game, this doesn't exist, but it's kind of implied that she is the XO because she is in the XO's quarters and she basically does all the things that an XO generally does. So, Liara, Doctorate of Archaeology, University of Ceres, 2183, Science Officer on the Normandy SR-1. 2183, Participant Battle of the Citadel, Unrecoverable Data, Data Recovered. 2183, Consultant for Prothean Technology on Ilos. 2184, Archaeological Conservator, Museum of Ilium. 2186, Consultant for Prothean Technology on Mars. Okay, got that sign. Marine Officer. The Marine Officer is in charge of the ship's marine detachment, including internal security. During ground operations, he acts as a second to the ground commander, and will assume command if his senior is incapacitated. If the ground force is separated into different teams, he will usually act as leader of the second squad. On board, the Marine Officer is subordinate to the XO. And we don't have any, and we cannot assign one. Chief Engineer is Adams. We haven't seen him for a while. He is an engineer, originally on the SSV Agincourt. Chief Engineer on the SSV Tokyo. 183, Chief Engineer of the SSV Normandy SR-1. Yes, it is Engineer Adams from the first game. So he's back. Excellent. 183, Participant of the Battle of the Citadel. 184, Mars Engineering Group. 186, Engineer on the Normandy SR-2 Retrofit. And also made Chief Engineer on the Normandy SR-2. And Dr. Michelle is our Chief Medical Officer. 177, Nurse at Servant Clinic Terranova. Complaint filled for distributing medicine without cost. Physician, Upper Wards Clinic on the Citadel. 185, Head of Medicine, Huerta Memorial Hospital at Citadel. And 2186, Chief Medical Officer on the SR-2. Supply Officer, Lieutenant Cortez. Licensed pilot, Class 7 fighters, Trident, Class 3 vehicles, ground, Class 5 vehicles, shuttles. Pilot of the SSV Hawking, Squadron Leader of the SSV Hawking, Supply Specialist, Civilian, Ferris Fields. 2185, reinstated. 2186, Cargo Flight Deck Officer, Normandy SR-2 Retrofit. 2186, Supply Officer or Pilot, Normandy SR-2. Well, Joker is the Flight Officer. Disability, Frolic Syndrome, Class 3. Dossier, 2173, enlisted in Systems Alliance. 2177, graduated with honors, Arcturus Pilot Academy. 2182, disciplined, Article 121.2, theft of government property, piloting Normandy SR-1 without orders. Yeah, we kind of punch people for that. Article 92.1, disobeying direct orders, disciplinary actions rescinded, authorized Captain D. Anderson. 2183, pilot Normandy SR-1. 2183, participant on the Battle of the Citadel. Oh, so he got pardoned before the Battle of the Citadel? That's interesting. 184, disciplined, Article 132.42, reckless endangerment. Article 92.1, disobeying direct orders. 2184, reassigned to the SSV Titan. 185, disciplined in absentia. Article 85.1, desertion. Article 104.1, aiding the enemy. 186, voluntarily remanded into custody. 186, returned to active duty. Disciplinary actions rescinded. Authorized Commander Shepard. Okay, so I guess Joker got off the hook that he was working with Cerberus on account of Shepard. In the main game, that was never really explained. That's an interesting idea. Communications Officer, Specialist Trainer. Service record. Enlisted in the Systems Alliance in 2179. 183, graduated with honors from Oxford University, Naval Scholarship. 184, Alliance R&D, Vancouver, UNAS. Communications and Strategic Analysis. 186, Communications Specialist on Normandy SR2. Gunnery Officer. Responsible for arming and maintaining the ship's arsenal, batteries, and offensive weaponry. The sophistication and complexity of modern weaponry require precise calibrations. We don't have one. Science Officer is Liara. Propulsion Engineer, none. Responsible for the engine and other systems that control flight, including the Mass Effect core. Power Engineer, none. Responsible for the power systems that fuel shields, engine, and life support. Armory is Cortez, and Armory is also Lieutenant Vega. 2176, enlisted in the Systems Alliance, Camp Pembleton, UNAS. 2183, participant in the Bloodpack raid on Fel Prime. Commended. 185, participated at the Collector attack on Fel Prime. Commended. Yeah, also Vega's past is in one of the Mass Effect comics as well. I think it's also Foundation. 2185, temporary leave of absence. 2186, reinstated to active duty, authorized by Admiral David Anderson. 2186, military guard, Vancouver Naval Base. 2186, soldier on the Normandy SR2. Cortez is also our pilot. Military detachment. Oh, also it says here. Junior officers oversee and execute most of the day-to-day work on the ship. Senior officers have executive control of the ship. They provide the core command structure, and under normal circumstances, each is in charge of a single operating area. Marine detachment. In addition to the main ground strike teams, the Normandy can carry its own marine detachment. Led by a lieutenant, they provide security while on ship and operate either to provide cover during major operations or to conduct less vital missions such as asset recovery. Detachment strength is minimal. Current strength is only enough to secure the war room. Select a lieutenant to recruit additional marines. Additional crew. Recruit additional crew from both naval and civil backgrounds to add specialist support. In addition to their existing combat teams, the Normandy can call upon other specialists for specific missions. Old friends and trusted associates can be asked to stand by and be ready to join ground teams if needed. And yes, on standby. Give notice to combat specialists to be ready and available for immediate action. In addition to their existing combat teams, the Normandy can call upon... Yes, we heard that. Additional squads. None. Available? None. So, we don't have anything. Okay, well that was that. We got the Vocational Code Handbook. And since, once again, we don't have enough time, let's just go through a bit more of the journal. Finish our primary codex, let's see the secondary codex. Alliance Intelligence Services AIS database. Intel Bulletin, Reaper Invasion. Intel Bulletin Urgent, Authorization Level Cobalt 5. Report as follows. Under the Emergency War Powers Act, Fleet Admiral Stephen Hackett has assumed command as Supreme Commander of Alliance military forces. After destruction of the Systems Alliance Parliament and Arcturus Station, the order of battle has been updated. All former and current military personnel are required to proceed to nearest designed rally point for assignment and redeployment as soon as possible. Incursions by Reaper ground forces have been reported on Earth and Tatris. Evacuations by both Systems Alliance and Terran hierarchy for these locations were severely compromised due to limited orbital resources and overwhelming enemy opposition. Successful recovery of civilians was negligible. Nearby ships provided supply drops of munitions and long-range communications in order to coordinate and expedite ground-side resistance. Further reports by SIGINT and HUMINT also indicate Reaper presence throughout the Terminus systems, Attican Traverse Systems Alliance, and Council Space regions. Primary targets are military infrastructure and logistical assets, focusing on fuel stations and supply routes to cripple ship movement and hinder counteroffensive action. Warnings have been broadcast to all civilian merchant vessels to avoid occupied territories. Travel should not be attempted unless escorted or providing emergency aid at one's own risk. Alpha roster of fortified fuel depots follows. Okay, these are fuel depot locations. That's handy, I guess. Vocational Code Handbook. Okay. So this explains what the codes next to each person mean. That's a lot of stuff. Surveillance operative. Trained in covert surveillance, survival, and low-orbit insertion techniques, the elite S-class operatives specialize in human intelligence gathering. Often operating deep in hostile territory for extended periods, S-class troops are given a high degree of operational freedom and usually operate under the umbrella of AIS. Like other codes, S has 5 ratings, with 1 being the highest. With their skills and training, S-class troops are considered prime candidates for Spectre nomination. Okay, well, maybe eventually we'll go through these. But let's see. Quarren Pilgrimage. Yes, we know about this. Citadel and Galactic Government. Citadel Council. We know about this. Citadel Space. We also know about this. Citadel Station CSEC. Citadel Security Services CSEC is a volunteer police service answering to the Citadel Council. The 200,000 constables of CSEC are responsible for maintaining public order in the densely populated Citadel. They also provide pirate suppression, customs enforcement, and search and rescue throughout the Citadel cluster. CSEC has 6 divisions. Enforcement, uniformed officers who patrol the Citadel and respond to emergencies. Investigation, detectives who puzzle out the truth behind crimes and bring perpetrators to justice. Customs, screens the thousands of passengers and cargo containers that pass through the Citadel's ports every day. Network deals with cyber crimes like identity and copyright theft, hacking and viral attacks, and legal artificial intelligence. Special Response deals with hostage situations, bombs, and heavily armed criminals. In the unlikely event that attackers board the Citadel, they are also the front line of defense, and with military-grade equipment. Patrol, naval arm with ships stationed throughout the Citadel cluster. Like the other divisions, they are rarely seen at the Citadel, nor do they stay in one place long. Joining CSEC is prestigious. Applications must be sponsored by a Citadel Councilor or the ambassador of an associate council race. Generally, applicants may have many years of distinguished service in the military or police forces of their nation, but an inexperienced applicant with demonstrable talent will be fairly considered. CSEC and the Spectres are often at odds. Many CSEC members, most notably the former executor Venari Palin, believe that allowing Spectres to be above the law is a dangerous practice. The actions of Saren Arterias lend credits to this position. The Spectres, in turn, are aggravated when CSEC's dedication to procedure and due process hampers their investigations. The Presidium Ring. The ring is an enclosed loop of park-like space serving as the connection point for the wards. The interior walls are lined with the embassies of influential species and private residences for the galaxy's elite. The Presidium is full of open-air restaurants, bars, and luxurious meeting areas. Gravity is about 1/3 Earth normal. A holographic sky is projected over the ceiling of the ring. Like the 24/7 bustle of the wards, the Presidium maintains a 20-hour day schedule with a 6-hour night, where lights are dimmed and the sky goes through a night cycle. Offices and residences are often open to the interior. It's not unusual for embassies to have no exterior wall at all. This does not cause a crime problem due to the heavy CSEC presence and ubiquitous monitoring devices on the Presidium. Thieves are quickly identified and apprehended. Yes, I guess this explains how we got to the embassies in the first game or so. The ring is the location of the Citadel spaceports. Being closer to the center of spin, there is less motion for a ship to match, and the reduced spin gravity makes handling cargo easier. Hundreds of ships pass through the Citadel every day, and every species with an embassy is granted a private dock. So I guess we were indeed docking at the Presidium. That is very interesting. The tower at the center of the ring holds the administration of the Citadel Council. The tower rises over a kilometer from the ring, appearing to thrust forward parallel to the ward arms. As the tower is at the center of the spin axis, it experiences little centrifugal force. Gravity is maintained using mass effect fields at a 90-degree angle to the ring and wards. A consular dock can be found at the base of the tower. While normally used for diplomatic couriers and Spectre business, the shuttles docked here can evacuate the council government in an emergency. And then Citadel statistics, we've seen this before, I believe. Most of the gravity on the station is generated by the centrifugal force of rotation. Alright, well that will be all for now, and next time maybe we will actually get to do something. So see you all then, later.